Hello everybody, Martin here, playing the first match with Meandeck Doomsday. This is a pre-recorded match. As I was playing it, I didn't know what I was up against, but it turned out to be miracles. So, we lost the die roll, and our opponent kept 7, I think, and we get this 7 card hand, which is... It is almost de facto a 6 card hand already with the Lab Man, and we don't have any cantrips. We're somewhat okay if we're up against combo. We're kind of weak otherwise. I think actually watching it now, I think it's probably a keepable hand, but I ended up mulliganing it. I think, yeah. We get this hand, which is frankly a little bit more suspect, but we do have the Doomsday and a way to protect it. And we have like plenty of land, so I think this is a keep. And we scry one, we keep. It's a Brainstorm. So our opponent goes Flooded Strand Pass, and this could be a number of things, but like Flood Strand, like the one deck in Legacy that has to play Flooded Strand is Miracles, so I think that automatically that means it's probably a little bit more likely to be Miracles. But there are plenty of Delver decks that get to run any of the blue fetches. The same goes for like Sneak Show and Storm. So it could be a Delver deck, could be a combo deck. We draw a Brainstorm, and so we are faced with a choice of playing out a fetch land to play around Wasteland, or play Tundra, put our opponents off a bit on what we're playing, and be able to have a, well, I was going to say have like a better Brainstorm, but even we have 2 fetches, so it's kind of the same. I think probably it's correct to play out the fetch here. I think playing around Stifle is much less of a thing right now than playing around Wasteland, but I chose to play out the Tundra. And so our opponent plays a Tundra, so now I'm feeling pretty confident it's Miracles. And we draw another land. We're not really in that much of a hurry. We don't want to get counterbalanced here, but that's pretty much the only thing we're worried about. And we have a Force of Will, plus whatever Brainstorm finds us. Alright, so our opponent casts a Brainstorm. We could Brainstorm in response here to just, like, if we are worried that they want to spend resources to counter our Brainstorm, then it's like less likely they'll have them before the Brainstorm than after, but I think that's not that likely, so I'd rather just wait. Okay, so they are representing, like, I guess, Counterspell here. We draw Flusterstorm, which is pretty nice. I think, yeah, okay, so we Brainstorm now. We could have waited. So we draw another Doomsday, another Flusterstorm, and a Brainstorm. So I guess we don't need the second Doomsday, and we also don't need 2 Flusterstorm. And just pass. And so they fetch end of turn just to, I guess, clear the top of their library. And they don't hit a 4th land and pass. So if this is Miracles, they haven't hit their land drop now, and they don't have a top in play by turn 4. That's not the greatest thing for them. So we fetch to clear with Flusterstorm on top and draw a Ponder, which is not bad. We lead off with Brainstorm. We draw top, which is awesome. We put back Swamp here because we don't want the 4th land. And we also put back Probe because while Probe is nice, we generally don't really care about their hand by now because we have so much protection ourselves. So we play our land and play the top, and I guess we go ahead and Ponder here. I don't really like that play, because I think we want Ponder as the blue card for Force. We're looking for a Dark Ritual, but we have the top to just look for that. I guess we draw the Ponder. Yeah, so not really any further, and we put Underground Sea on top. I think we kind of want to crack the fetch and look at the top end of turn, but I'm not sure. I get into their turn. Okay, so they flash in Snapcaster Mage, which is a Brainstorm, which is, like, I thought they were going to flash in Cleek, which would have been a lot worse. Cleek is like a card I would hate to see here, because it like Force of Will is the only card that interacts with it out of our hand, and so we would be down 2 cards, and they could have a counterspell, so we would have to also Flusterstorm, and we'd be sort of almost out of interaction. But luckily, it was only Snapcaster. So yeah, we're still kind of worried about counterbalance. Doesn't look like they found it, or top, or even a land. Okay, no, there's top. That's pretty big for them. No land though. So yeah, we fetch here to be able to top it in a turn, get the 3rd Underground Sea. There's a predict, which is pretty neat. So I think we want to predict here to get some cards into our hand. We put Misdirection on top, but instead we choose to ponder. And so we found there's a Dark Ritual. So we have to work out which of these 2 blue cards we want to bin with predict. But maybe it's actually correct to just not even cast predict and just use it on like after Doomsday, because we want to predict then anyways. But we draw the ritual, and we're getting ready to go off here. Well, we have pretty strong hand. We can force and fluster and pact, or at least we can force and pact. I think maybe not fluster as well. Then we don't force. Alright, they're not dropping counterbalance, which is what matters. I guess they could find a ponder and then hit a land. But they don't, they just shift the turn, or what, no, they swing in. Alright, let's have a look at it in a turn. I think the correct thing here is to take the island. So like probably put Misdirection on top, if we were going to predict. Okay, no, okay, I choose Flusterstorm. And I guess I don't predict, which is what I was just talking about. But I think I should have taken the island, though, instead of the 2nd cluster. I could be wrong. So we cast a Doomsday, and they fetch in response. Alright. They get islands, so they have double blue, and they have a counter spell. We packed it. We're committed to winning now, but I think, yeah, no. So they let Doomsday resolve, and so we make a pile with we pick Labman and Unearth. Those are the 2 cards we have to have. And then probe, 2nd probe, and then we choose the Pact of Negation here in the bottom, or in the graveyard. You can choose cards from the graveyard with Doomsday. And we make the pile, Unearth on the bottom, then the 2 probes, then the Pact, and then the Labman. And we predict ourselves. And they force. So here, like, if we had taken the island instead of the 2nd Flusterstorm, we would have had an island here. And that would mean we could cast Flusterstorm, because as you can see, like, we have to cast Unearth. So we have to use this Underground Sea to do that. But then we would only have Force Fluster anyway, so it sort of comes down to we could either have Force of Will or a Flusterstorm. We couldn't have both. I think in this case it doesn't really matter. So we are going to force back. Now we are really sad if they have a Terminus on top. Actually, no, we're not, because Predict is going to draw us our Pact of Negation. So Predict still on the stack. They look with the top, so I guess they're looking for a force or a blue card if they have the 2nd force. But we get to predict, and we name Labman. Hooray, Labman! Who would have thought? And we draw probe and pact. So we probe now, and that was their hand. So yeah, they were looking for the force. If they had found a force sometime, they would have lost. We probe again, and also like this is a really close shave. As you see, we're at 5 life now. Sorry, at 1 life we were at 5 with 2 probes. And in this instance, we couldn't pass a turn regardless because we pacted. So we would have lost. But it all pans out. We cast on Earth, and we have the Sensei's top in play to draw a card. We have 0 cards in our library, and our opponent concedes. Alright, so for sideboarding, I bring in the Sheldog Isle and the Emrakul. And I think I shaved like a predict, maybe the Lotus Petal, I can't remember, but I just like I maintain the Labman WinCon just in case that is more opportune, like if they flash a Caracas or something. So we get this hand, and especially like having the top here makes us a keep. Also, we're pretty close to just like what I was saying in the deck tech is this deck, this matchup versus Miracles, is very if we get to resolve Doomsday with Sheldog Isle and Emrakul, it's looking very good for us. So us having like a way to counter and Ritual and Doomsday makes this like quite interesting or quite appealing. So yeah, we keep this, and our opponent keeps as well. So we need a second land. They again do not have top on turn 1, or maybe they do and they just don't want to like flush. They want to have flush or something. All right, we did not board out the petal, so I can't remember what the second card was I boarded out. So we are going to play top here, and we could be prepared to fight over it, but they don't. So like here again, we don't want them to go land counterbalance. They don't, because their second land is plains. So here we could go petal. We could like, because what we're gonna do now is we're gonna top and upkeep. But we could have not done that. Then like if we didn't draw land, we could like just go petal, Cabal Ritual, see if that resolves Doomsday, see if that resolves doesn't force, and then try to power through the Doomsday, and then not have made our land drops. So we could even tap the top to draw Sheldog Isle and play Sheldog Isle this turn, and then skip a turn, so to speak, in the chink. And in the chain, but we choose the top, and well, the good news is we get like a Dark Ritual, so we don't need to find a second land, and we also get like a blue card for force. We get to probe, see what they're up to. So this is pretty good top for being a top with no land. So we decide to probe. Well, I mean, not this one, but we decide to draw the probe. And we'll play out the petal just in case they go counterbalance. Like, if they go top counterbalance, we force pitching probe. If they can force back, we have Flusterstorm to keep the counterbalance off the table. Although, like, counterbalance isn't even that scary, but, like, yeah, because of the Sheldog Isle, we just need to have a 2 and a 3 mana spell resolve. But we Sheldog Isle. So they missed their third land drop, which is, again, quite unfortunate for them. So this is where we go off. We're going to probe to see what they have, because we know it's going to draw us another blue card for the force. But they red blast the probe. This makes me kind of want to... This makes me kind of want to wait a turn, but we could start to go off now, and we can still like draw with top to draw the blue card, which I think was misdirection. So I mean, it would stand to reason that they have at least a Force of Will in hand. Let's see, Dark Ritual resolves. Cabal Ritual. We're gonna cast that just to have the extra mana because we won't like after this turn it won't do us any good anyways. And so Doomsday. Doomsday resolves. Fantastic. So we make a pile with Emrakul and Labman. Like I put Labman there just in case we need to, like, the Emrakul thing messes up. I think maybe there's a chance we could still win with Labman, so we want the mental note in that case, not predict, because we won't have mana to cast predict. But I don't actually think I thought it through, because with mental note, like, the Emrakul and the Sheldar won't be there. I guess Emrakul will always be in the deck. So, because like if Emrakul gets Terminus, he'll still be in the deck. If he gets put in the yard somehow, he'll still be in the deck because he'll get shuffled back in. So actually forget that. We make this pile, make it unearth on the bottom, I guess, and then Labman, then Mental Note, then Emrakul, and then Sheldar. And now we just draw with the top because we haven't made our land drop. We cast or play the Sheldar Isle. The Hideaway trigger happens. We get to look at the top 4 cards of the library, and we choose the Emrakul. And we put them back, and we actually get to order these. So let's make it Labman, Mental Note, no, top and then Mental Note. Okay. And just pass the turn, and hope they don't slam a Caracas. They don't do anything, they just pass the turn. So we draw the Unearth. I think we should have drawn top. Actually, maybe that shuffled us, right? Because we put Mental Note on top. So it's weird. It says any order, but then it shuffles the cards anyways. And that's actually what it says on the land. It says put them on the bottom of your library. I guess it doesn't specify. But that's... Oh no, hang on. I just ordered it wrong. Yeah, alright, never mind. But we activate the Sheldar Isle, put a blue mana into it. You may play the exile card without casting its mana cost. It's funny that this is worded like it is. Like you may play the card. I would assume it would be cast, but yeah, whatever. So we choose Emrakul, click on him there. We get the beautiful Time Walk trigger, and they concede. So that was quick and dirty, but I do think the Miracles player got somewhat boned, not really finding much of anything, missing land drops here and there. So, but I definitely do think that the Sheldar Isle plan is really strong against Miracles. I know, like, my friend Kai some of his friends in Japan were testing for Doomsday and Sheldar Isle Emrakul out of the sideboard of Storm of like Ad Nauseam Tendrils, just against Miracles, like instead of the Abrupt Decay, grinding, whatever plan, because Miracles just has such a hard time dealing with like a quick Doomsday and then Emrakul. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching. I will be back with one more match.